Welcome to the Cryptosphere. This is Cryptogenic coming at you. Today is Thursday, May 27th at 4:18 p.m. here in sunny California. We've got 41 minutes and 36 seconds left on this daily candle, and we are still watching this market to figure out, have we hit the bottom or is there further down to go? Before we talk about the market, I want to talk about something that I think is very, very important for us to grasp. Every single one of us as investors, whether you're an investor or a trader, or whether you're an investor trader, whether you're or just a trader, we all have to understand that in this realm, especially in this crypto realm, there is nothing that is more profitable than the experience of loss. Loss is our greatest profit. Let me try to explain to you what I mean. I have been doing a buttload of reflection, prayer, and journaling over the last few days to try to figure out what in the heck happened to me. If you've watched my channel for any period of time, you know that all the way back here, I was calling 66,000 as the top. And I remember we were up here at just before we hit 65,000. I said in one of my videos, it's not even going to touch 66,000. Secondly, which makes it even worse, if you were in my trading group, you know that I told you that we're going to start shorting Bitcoin at around 65,000 because 66,000 is the top for now, and that we were going to short it all the way down. Some of you joined my trading group because of that promise that I made. It got up here and touched 65,000, almost, but I never shorted it. I was paralyzed, and I couldn't figure out why. And people in my group were going, we're going to short, we're going to short, we're going to short. And then we got up over here, back towards 60,000. And people in my group were saying, are we going to short? Are we going to short it? Are we going to short it? But I was paralyzed and I couldn't figure out why. And so this whole crash, we lost a lot, especially those of us who are trading. Thankfully, we don't trade with large sums of money. But a bunch of us got liquidated. Most of us got liquidated. The only people who didn't get liquidated are, number one, the people who got in late, so they didn't have enough skin in the game to get liquidated. Or two, the people who were smarter than me and went ahead and set their stop losses, all the stuff that I knew I was supposed to do, but I didn't do. Matter of fact, the night before this big engulfing bearish candle, the night before, just before I went to sleep, I had 4 thoughts. And we were up here. First thought I had. Sorry. Yeah, it was there. First thought I had. I need to put stop losses on all my trades. Second thought I had. I need to short Bitcoin right now. Third thought I had. I need to short Litecoin right now. And the fourth thought I had. I need to put my whole my whole investment portfolio into USDT. I literally had those 4 thoughts. And then I thought to myself, it's late. I'm going to sleep now. And when I wake in the morning, I'm going to look into all of these things. And by tomorrow night, I'll have a strategy for doing all 4 of those things. I go to sleep. I wake up the next morning. And I've got a bunch of messages from my trading group. We're all liquidated. You need to talk to us. So I jump in there. All I could do was apologize. All I could do is say, guys, I take full responsibility for this. This is my fault. I was supposed to protect you guys from this. And of course, you know, most of the members of my group were just very supportive. They were like, look, we're all in this at our own risk. This is not your fault. Nobody could have seen a 50% drop in a single candle. I mean, very supportive stuff. I totally appreciated that, received it. But, sorry, it was this candle here. It was up here. I still needed to get to the bottom, and I was thankful for that feedback from my group. But I still needed to get to the bottom of a question. Why was I paralyzed? Why did I not follow my own strategy? You see, it's one thing if I don't know something's going to happen. I can forgive myself for the stuff that I couldn't have seen coming. I can forgive myself if all of a sudden, if all of the charts look bullish and then bam, a big bearish candle hits. I can forgive myself for that because nobody saw that coming. I didn't see it coming. I don't have a crystal ball. But what I can't forgive myself for is stuff that I knew was going to happen. I even drew a line here at $30,000. Why was I paralyzed? So I've been journaling, self-reflecting, talking to my mentors, praying, meditating to try to get to the bottom of that. And I had a memory. The memory I had, I was in the second grade. My little brother was in kindergarten. He and I used to meet on the playground at lunchtime and play catch. So one particular day he comes out of class, it's lunchtime, I'm waiting for him with the football. I throw the football to him, he catches it. He throws it back to me, we're playing catch. But another little kid in his class runs over and pushes him to the ground, snatches the football from him and throws it to me. I am livid. Somebody just laid hands on my little brother. So I run over there and I pick that kid up off the ground and body slam it. Blam! And honestly, I felt righteous. It just felt right. I didn't give it a second thought. Nothing felt wrong about that. It just felt like the right thing to do. This kid touched my brother. I'm going to deal with him. So I go back to playing catch with my brother, going about my business, forget all about it. Go home that night. My mother, she comes to me and says, "Son, I got a call from that little boy's mother." His name was James. James's mother called me. "Did you body slam that little boy?" I said, "Yes, I did." And I told her the story. And even then I felt righteous. She said, "Well, son, you do realize that James has an older brother who's bigger than you." And I thought about that. James had an older brother named Jack, and Jack was a year older than me, but much larger than me. Still a good friend of mine, by the way, and he's still much larger than me. And she said, "What if Jack came over and body slammed you for body slamming his little brother?" And I thought, that would not be a good scenario. I was imagining myself getting body slammed by Jack, and it was not a pretty sight. It was not a fun thought. So the next day I go to school. I understand what my mother was trying to do. Of course, she wanted to protect me. She wanted to teach me morality. She wanted to teach me that you don't handle things with violence, that there's better things, better ways to handle that situation. What she did not tell me was, here's the better way to handle that situation. Not her fault, not blaming her. It's just, she did the best she could in that moment. Not blaming her, but that's just the situation. So I go to school the next day. I'm playing catch with my brother again. Same kid, James, comes over and pushes my brother down to the ground and grabs the football. And I was paralyzed. Everything in me wanted to body slam the kid. But I couldn't. I was paralyzed. So I stood there paralyzed, shaking, and I started crying. And then I felt so small and powerless that I just ran off. I ran away. So a pattern developed in my life that day. Very familiar pattern. It's called fight or flight. I only have two responses. I either body slam you or I cower. I body slam or I run away crying. Now, how does this apply to crypto? A year ago, in March, all this volatility in the market, I was shorting the crap out of the market. 20 to 30x margin. I was body slamming the market. I shorted Ethereum at $236 and shorted it all the way down to $120. I made about 40 grand on that one trade. Shorted the crap out of the market. I was shorting Bitcoin, shorting Litecoin, shorting Ethereum, making a killing. And then in the very next trade, I would get liquidated. Over leverage, make the wrong call, the wrong time in the market, and get liquidated. And what that experience, and I got liquidated multiple times in that season, what that experience taught me is that you can't body slam the market. And now I had a better approach coming into this, a much more responsible approach, a much more sober approach. I knew I couldn't body slam the market, but I ended up running away crying. I was paralyzed. I became that little boy. Mike Tyson said everybody has a plan till they get punched in the face. I got punched in the face here, and my plan went out the window. Now, going back to my original statement, there's nothing so profitable as loss, which means that this experience of loss here in the crypto space has given me an incredible opportunity to get to the bottom of stuff that's going on in my own soul. That's more profitable than money. The type of work that I'm able to do because of this is more profitable than a successful trade. I say that carefully as well, because I know people were following me and got liquidated. And that's more painful to me than my own loss. And I mean that seriously. Thankfully, if you've been following me for any amount of time, you're still profitable. Even through this crash, you're still profitable. My portfolio is still up 30x since November. I was up 60x before this whole pullback. And most people who have followed the cryptogenic portfolio are still very profitable. But here's the deal. Going back to what I was saying before, I can forgive myself for the stuff that I don't know. Last year when I was making those crazy trades, I didn't know nearly as much about technical analysis as I know today. And I was making these trades based on instinct and hunch and feelings, and I was taking guesses that weren't even educated guesses, and I was doing it with 20, 30x leverage. It's just ridiculous. I didn't know, but I still wanted to act. But then this year I knew, but I didn't act. There's a verse in the Bible that says, "He who knows to do right but does it not, to him it is sin." Basically, that verse in the Bible defines sin as anything you know that you're supposed to do, but you don't do it. So I'm wrestling with this stuff, guys. And not only am I going to come out of this a better investor and a better trader, but I'm going to come out of it a better human being. And that is the key. Because what experiences of loss in general do for us is give us the opportunity to revisit portions of our history that are unresolved. And an unresolved moment in your history is not history. It's still the present. It doesn't become history until you resolve it. And so I got to revisit the playground where a second grader didn't know what to do when his little brother was getting bullied, even though he knew what to do, but he couldn't do it. He was paralyzed. And like that little boy, I got paralyzed again. But because I'm working this out in my soul, I don't have to live with this paralysis for another season of my life. That's called healing. Loss has the power to heal you. if you process it correctly. The experience of loss can open doors to the healing of your soul. For me, it's all a conversation with God. My journaling every morning, before I open a chart, I open a journal. Because who cares if you make all the money in the world, but you're a nasty human being? You end up losing all your relationships. You lose the most important stuff. So don't leave your profits on the table. If you've lost in this pullback, don't leave your profits on the table. This is more profitable than successful trades. All right, enough of that for now. I know I can go on and on about that. I want to look at this market. Let's look at this market. And I know I talked about it in my video yesterday, but I'm going to talk about it again. Looking at this market here, there's a really good chance Bitcoin takes another nosedive. I mean, this looks like a bear pennant to me. I mean, the RSI is still on a downward trajectory, although the MACDs look like they want to turn bullish. So we need to be ready for the possibility that Bitcoin is going to take another dive. It's not a certainty, but it's definitely a possibility. And we need to be ready for that. We need to be prepared for that so that we're not taken by surprise if Bitcoin takes another nosedive. Now, looking at Litecoin, on the other hand, I don't like this chart. I like this chart. I talked about this yesterday. It looks like we're going to V bottom out of here and move back into this trend. But once again, it all depends on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin decides to take another dump, Litecoin certainly will take another dump as well. So we simply need to keep our eyes on this market and be ready for either one to happen. Now, taking a look at XRP. XRP is hanging out in this trend. It is still honoring this trend line here, which means it's still in a bullish trajectory. We're simply watching this RSI to see if it's going to break bullish out of this triangle here. And if so, that's a bullish sign. Then XRP can make its way up towards the top of this trend. So we're simply going to watch that. Also, I want to take a look at BCH. You know, BCH, the best thing I did out of this thing was buy more BCH at $500. And that was great. But if Bitcoin takes another dive, BCH could take another dive, and it could even come back down here to 368, which would be pretty cool in a sense because we added it to the cryptogenic portfolio at 380, somewhere in the 380s. So if you bought it then, you've still doubled your money. But if you didn't and it comes back down, we may have an opportunity to buy it again at a lower level. All right, I've already talked your ear off today, so I'm not going to talk you any further. I just want to say, don't let this market kill you. And you got to separate your identity from the market. The market crashes. If you crash, you've misidentified yourself with the market. You've confused yourself, your own identity, with the market. We must do everything in our power to sleep in peace, to wake in joy, and to walk in love. This is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. This is just my opinion and my perspective. Do me a favor, hit that like button if you would. Subscribe if you would. And this is Cryptogenic signing out.